Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the Kitimat RCMP put out their latest weekly report. The accused shooters of Hardeep Singh Nijjar had a brief court appearance, and a rivalry between Canadian NHL fan bases is heating up.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Baslett, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. As part of Emergency Preparedness Week, the City of Terrace announced that they have launched a brand new notification service to communicate important information. It is being called the Voyant Alert Service and will be used for multiple purposes to make sure local residents stay up to date with the ongoings in Terrace. Namely, the service will be used to warn people about events such as fires, flooding, as well as other extreme weather, but other more normal daily event notifications will be sent out too, for things like road advisories, utility outages, facility closures, and other similar topics whenever the city feels the need to mention them. A couple of days ago, the members of the Kitimat Fire Department had to make their way to the scene of a house fire that was located at Kachika Street. And the height of the fire ended up resulting in the part of the house's roof collapsing inward somewhat, although seemingly not quite all the way. The department had to bring all three of their firefighting vehicles to the scene a little later in the morning, and it got to the point where an ambulance and the RCMP went to the fire as well. The firefighters are said to have battled the flames by placing water through the holes that had opened in the roof of the house. Right now, it's not clear if anyone has knowledge of what led to the fire being started. The Kitimat RCMP put out their latest report that detailed what had happened in the area during the past week or so. One area of the report discussed the police getting a report of a break-and-enter case at a vacant Kildala neighborhood residence involving a 44-year-old man. The man was taken into custody but was eventually released with a future court date to answer for that incident as well as several others like it. Another major incident saw a patrolling officer notice a vehicle driving without its taillights on, and once the vehicle was pulled over, it was discovered that the driver was impaired by alcohol. The driver then got issued a 90-day driving prohibition, and their vehicle will be impounded for 30 days. Earlier today, the entirety of the corridor on Highway 16 stretching between Telkwa and Evelyn got a much-needed cleaning as students from the Bulkley Valley Christian School as part of their annual Litterathon event. The event saw students from grade 8 to 12 spread out along both sides of the highway to collect all the litter left behind in the area over the winter. The BVCS also partnered up with the Dawson Road Maintenance to support their efforts with the event that is designed to express the schools and the students' care for both community and environmental care. The Litterathon also serves as a big fundraising opportunity, as any person, business, or family who makes a tax-deductible sponsorship donation will help those students pay for things like extracurricular fees and more. There's said to be a news phase for the war in the Middle East. After weeks of warnings, the Israeli military has seized control of Gaza's vital Rafah border crossing, with Egypt cutting off the entirety of entry of aid into the city. CTV's Mike LeCouture reports on what this operation means for ceasefire talks.
Israel's military rolled into Rafah, determined to seize control of the key border crossing on the southern tip of Gaza. Video obtained by Reuters appears to show tanks bulldozing signs and soldiers raising Israeli flags, all at the direction of Israel's prime minister. Benjamin Netanyahu says taking Rafah serves two goals: the return of the hostages and the elimination of Hamas. Gaza field hospitals were once again filled with casualties as Israel's warning for people to flee came too late for many. The Israeli military says it launched targeted airstrikes, while video showed massive destruction in residential areas of Rafah. I never saw a war like this war, says this man. Trust me, I wanted to move, I couldn't. All of this comes 24 hours after Hamas had responded to a ceasefire proposal, one that Israel said was far from its requirements. As Israel controls the Gaza side of the Rafah crossing with Egypt, there is concern desperately needed humanitarian aid will slow to a trickle or be cut off altogether.
It's hard to see if that closes for an extended period how aid agencies avert famine across the Gaza Strip.
Disturbed and distressed by the developments, the head of the United Nations is asking Israel to stop.
Even the best friends of Israel are clear. An assault on Rafah would be a strategic mistake, a political calamity, and a humanitarian nightmare.
Those calls for calm echoed by the Foreign Affairs Minister.
Canada continues to put pressure on the Israeli officials and government, and also working with our allies.
All of this puts the potential ceasefire on the brink of collapse, as a Hamas official has said if Israel continues its military aggression in Rafah, the deal is off. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, a North Vancouver flower shop has taken a lot of damage at a very inconvenient time. Welcome back. Hardeep Singh Nijjar's supporters wanted to see that men that were accused of gunning down the Sikh leader face justice. Their recent court appearance lasted only a few minutes, but the accused hitmen face a long legal process. CTV's Yasmin Gandham reports.
All three suspects appeared virtually, and all three matters adjourned for 2 weeks until May 21st here at Surrey Provincial Court. Indian nationals Karanpreet Singh, Kamalpreet Singh, and Karan Brar are facing charges of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Kamalpreet Singh is still without a lawyer, while the other two have representation. Karanpreet Singh and Karan Brar both have no contact orders in relation to 7 individuals that will continue in advance of trial. Dozens of supporters for 45-year-old Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Sikh activist who was gunned down last year in Surrey, gathered for the trial.
To show them that we can't be silenced in the wake of this type of violence, and the support for the Khalistan movement or sovereignty won't just be silenced by taking out one leader.
It's something that obviously is a huge thing of concern, but it's a fear that people have been living with for a very, very long time. So in a lot of ways for the Sikh community, this isn't something new.
The suspect's arrest happened in Edmonton on Friday in the killing of Nijjar in June last year outside the Surrey Gurdwara where he was president.
The anger, the frustration, I think will always be there just because of something like this being carried out. It's a very difficult thing to get over for a community with such a high-profile, charismatic leader that we had.
Indictments for the 3 suspects allege that they had conspired to kill Nijjar starting in May of last year, both here in Surrey and in Edmonton, while the murder counts say all 3 suspects used a firearm in the killing. Yasmin Gandham, CTV News, Surrey.
The NDP government is still waiting to hear back from the feds on its request to make amendments to its decriminalization pilot. The changes would once again ban hard drug use in public places, as the issue is not going away as politicians sling it out in both Victoria and Ottawa. Here's CTV's Rob Buffum.
To completely scrap his decriminalization disaster.
Tempers flared in BC's legislature, fanned by the issue of decriminalization. BC United and the BC Conservatives again taking aim at the controversial policy. Conservative Bruce Banman alleging the Premier had met with the Prime Minister last night.
Flying to Ottawa to meet Justin Trudeau doesn't do anything for British Columbians who are living with the NDP nightmare of decriminalization.
Problem was, Eby pointed out he hadn't been to Ottawa over the weekend, but rather to Toronto to check on his mom recovering from a fall. And he used the moment to dig into what polls say is now his main rivals, the BC Conservatives.
That's not the only fact that the member has gotten wrong in his monologues, but he's not interested in facts. We don't want him, we don't want his leader, and their nonsense in British Columbia.
The fireworks not limited to BC. Federal Conservative Pierre Poilievre also taking aim at the policy. His target, the federal Liberal government, which has not yet approved BC's request to recriminalize all public drug use.
It has now been 10 days and 60 dead British Columbians.
BC's addictions minister said she expects a response from Ottawa very soon, and acknowledges if consumption is banned in most spots, but for private homes, shelters, testing locations, and overdose sites, more inhalation overdose sites will be needed.
Inhalation has become the dominant mode of consumption, and we're working with health authorities and with community partners to scale up access to inhalation as part of those sites.
Meanwhile, harm reduction advocates, including Mums Stop the Harm, say all of this politics is putting lives at risk, especially forcing the homeless to hide their use.
For people who are vulnerable, for people who are experiencing homelessness, they are hooped. They are in danger of being arrested.
A response on the state of BC's hard drug laws is expected within days. There's no end in sight for the political debate.
A North Vancouver flower shop is in ruins after a shocking multiple vehicle collision over the weekend that was caught on dashcam, and police suspect the driver who caused it was drunk behind the wheel. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
Jennifer Sullivan is picking up the pieces of the North Vancouver flower shop she's operated for 27 years.
Shocked. All the hard work and everything that is now just destroyed.
Destroyed Saturday evening when a parked car was sent careening into the front of the shop after it was hit by an alleged drunk driver. The terrifying impact caught on dashcam.
It's shocking how fast the black SUV must have been driving to push that car, the parked car, into my store with such force to do the damage it did, and then for it to end, the SUV to end up at Winners. It's sickening to think that somebody is out on the road that intoxicated. It was absolutely shocking that nobody was hurt, because normally there are a lot of people walking by the stores.
Her store is now in ruins at the worst possible time. Special Moments Flowers and Gifts was gearing up for Mother's Day, one of the busiest days of the year.
It is a huge loss. I'm been working for weeks to get prepared with arrangements and ordering flowers and organizing staff.
Heartbreaking. Jennifer has put in so much work to make this shop so special for everyone who comes in.
Sullivan is determined to fulfill her Mother's Day orders.
I have lots of offers for temporary space to make arrangements in. I just may not be able to be here. I'm not sure yet if I'll be able to be open for people to come by and pick things up.
The beloved local florist has been inundated with offers to help get the shop reopened in time.
It's been very overwhelming. My phone lights up constantly between Facebook and Instagram.
I have offered my services to volunteer, sweep floors, do whatever I need to do, and she has graciously declined. She'll do it on her own.
When Sullivan gets the okay from engineers that the structure is safe, the cleanup will begin.
I will work tirelessly to get everything ready as much as I can so that people can come in and pick up flowers for their special mothers in their lives.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, North Vancouver.
Turning to tonight's weather, the North Coast shall see a chance of showers plus a low of 9 degrees. The Terrace-Kitimat area should likely also get a chance of showers as well as a low of 6 degrees, and the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District will instead see clear skies at a low of -3 degrees. On the North Coast, their next week should get one sunny day, but mixed sunny and cloudy days or rainy days the rest of the time, while the high shifts from 16 to 9 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, the week for them would consist of mixed cloudy and sunny days, as well as rainy days, while the high drops from 22 to 11 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, the upcoming week will be made up of mostly sunny days, but a few cloudy days afterwards, and a high bouncing from 21 to 15 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. On Highway 16, there is utility work, bridge maintenance, road sweeping, and construction work. Highway 37 has some bridge maintenance while also having road sweeping and frost heaves. 37A has road sweeping too, as well as road maintenance. And the Telegraph Creek Road has muddy sections and frost heaves. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. still to come is a look at an equity line of credit that lots of Canadians have but may not have access to. Welcome back. About 8 million Canadians have a home equity line of credit, also known as a HELOC. Lenders use your home as a guarantee you'll pay back borrowed money. You can also apply for life insurance on a line of credit, but as CTV's Pat Ford explains, you may not be eligible depending on your age.
So how did you feel when they said, you're not insured?
Devastated. Devastated.
John Richards will turn 80 years old this month, and he still works as a crossing guard where he lives in Uxbridge. His wife Sandra died last November. They were married for 50 years.
I wish she was here, but it wasn't to be. I think about her every day.
When Sandra was 69 years old, she took out a $150,000 line of credit on their home. They used the money to travel for upgrades and other expenses. Richard says it was their understanding the line of credit was covered by life insurance. His interest payment is now almost $800 each month.
I thought the charge that they were charging me included the insurance.
But when Sandra died at 75 years of age, Richards found out their line of credit was not insured. Their bank does not provide life insurance for customers on a line of credit once they reach 70 years of age.
I had no idea that at 70 they could just say, we're not insuring you anymore.
The line of credit is with TD Bank, and it does say in their terms and conditions you can apply for life insurance if you're 18 to 69 years old. TD Bank told CTV News in a statement it's an unfortunate situation and we offer our condolences, and that to preserve our customers' privacy, TD cannot comment on the specifics of the case. We encourage Canadians to speak with an insurance advisor to find the coverage that best meets their needs and to review their policies regularly. Other Canadian banks also terminate life insurance policies on lines of credit. Once a customer turns 70, some also do it when a client turns 65 or 75 years old. Richard says he wishes he would have known about the policy, as paying the money back now will be difficult.
I can't pay that off. So I'm sitting here on a fixed income. So if I have to pay the stupid thing off, I could be dead by that time.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Playoff fever is sweeping the province, and with an all-Canadian matchup in the second round, the off-ice rivalry between Vancouver and Edmonton is also heating up. CTV's Ben Milger has reaction from fans of both teams.
As Canucks fans celebrate a trip to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, people and politicians across the province are getting in on the fun.
Go Canucks, go!
On the front lawn of the legislature, Canucks mascot Finn was on hand to help MLAs raise a team flag, which will fly for the duration of the playoffs.
When you're an Oilers fan living in enemy territory.
Some hockey fans in BC are flying Oilers flags, and they've even established their own Facebook group for those living in enemy territory.
I'll be like walking my dog and I'll be wearing an Oilers hat. And my dog has an Oilers bandana, so like people will kind of see, and I see them staring at me. And like once in a while, I just see someone shake their head.
In Penticton, one social media user called for a boycott of the local Boston Pizza after seeing a Let's Go Oilers message outside the restaurant. The sign has since been updated and now reads, "Bring the cup home, let's go Canucks."
Maybe that's a little extreme. We don't need to boycott its whole restaurant just for that.
Predicting a tense playoff battle, an Edmonton Journal reporter writes, the sushi dens and granola taverns will be on edge. You can count on it. And how sweet it would be for oil country to take down the anti-pipeline crowd. Canucks fans seem to be taking the chirps in stride.
I mean, it's fun. It's playoff hockey, so it's bound to happen, but excited.
Do you have a prediction for the series?
Canucks in 7.
As the players continue to prepare for the series opener, Vancouver's head coach doesn't think it will take long for animosity to brew on the ice as well.
There's only 8 teams left. Edmonton's in our way, and we're in their way. So that's a rivalry to me.
The fans can't wait for this series to get started, and neither can the teams. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
And now we turn our attention to the stock markets. The Canadian dollar is down 16 tenths of a cent. The price of gold is down $1.90. Oil is up 61 cents, natural gas is down 2 cents, aluminum is up $18. In Toronto, the TSX is down 31.46 points, Venture Index is down 3.22. In New York, the Dow Jones is up 172.13 and Nasdaq is down 29.80. Still ahead is some ideas on how to watch the upcoming Oilers vs. Canucks playoff game. Welcome back. Now for a question on a lot of people's minds, where are you watching the game? With Canucks fever taking over, more options are popping up throughout the region. CTV's Kevin Chirac provides a few watch party ideas and an update on if the city of Vancouver will jump on the bandwagon.
At the Rio Theatre in East Van,
right in front and they score!
Canucks hockey has taken over the big screen.
At the Rio, we always kind of have this slogan of, if you can't beat them, join them.
A place known for cult classics and unique events now embracing playoff fever.
I feel like it could sell out. As soon as we announced it, tickets were going fast.
And now is the time.
New Westminster City Councillor Daniel Fontaine says the city's working to throw its own watch party at Hayek Square or the Anvil Centre.
We won't be able to probably get prepared for that particular game, but staff are working as quickly as they can to allow the public some opportunity, hopefully in a coming game or two.
He says it's an event to build community and boost the local economy.
I've heard from some of the local businesses that in the downtown area of Vancouver that a night of Canucks playoff hockey is literally like a Super Bowl.
That's been the case for downtown Vancouver bars, including the Shark Club.
It's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the servers are very happy about that as well.
But back at the Rio, tickets are free for walk-ins and $8 to reserve a seat for the all-ages event.
I do think it's important to have a space where families can go and hang out together, have some popcorn and candy.
Port Coquitlam and Burnaby are hosting watch parties at rec centers, and the city of Delta is continuing its outdoor event at Social Heart Plaza, with police telling CTV News there were no incidents for any games in round one. Outdoor playoff watch parties are common for cities across the country, but Vancouver held off in round one, with Mayor Ken Sim citing public safety concerns.
But that could change. Sim has called a press conference for tomorrow morning, aka Game Day, where we're expecting to hear details on the city's Canucks party plans for round two. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Vancouver.
The president of the University of British Columbia says the school values peaceful protests, but anyone expressing views about the violence unfolding in Israel and Palestine needs to be exceptionally careful how they convey their thoughts. Benoit Anton Bacon says UBC is monitoring a protest that includes an encampment that now involves about 100 people in 75 tents. The UBC protests are part of a movement that has roiled academic campuses in both the United States and Canada. On Monday, BC Human Rights Commissioner Kasari Govender called on universities and colleges to protect the rights of students and staff, taking part in peaceful encampments, saying she was worried about people who speak up in solidarity with Gaza being penalized. That's all of our news for now. From all of us here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.